How's everyone doing? Thanks for joining me on my small engine repair channel. Today's video is going to be slightly different than what you're used to seeing on my channel. Normally you're going to find a lot of how-to videos on how to repair your small engines. Today's video is actually going to be a bit of a review on a new tool that I just purchased to help me in my shop here with blade sharpening. So without further ado, let's get into it. Alright guys, so here's the package that showed up at my door just the other day. I haven't gotten around to open it yet, but I thought I'd do a bit of an unboxing and give you a personal review on this new tool that I purchased for the shop. And it's made by a company called All American Sharpener. Okay, this is a model 5005. So I've been looking at maybe purchasing something like this for some time. The tool, if you're not familiar with it, is actually utilized to help sharpen lawnmower blades. And in the heart of the springtime, I actually am sharpening 3, 4, 5 blades in a week. And I'm just a small shop. I run out of my garage in my spare time. So I didn't think I could justify spending the money on this particular tool. For the cost, it is fairly steep. Here in Canada, it was shipped to my door from Amazon. Next day, it was $340 Canadian, including tax and shipping. So it is a little bit on the pricey side, but what kind of tipped me over the top is I have a landscape customer. He's been bringing me a set of 3 blades for his 52-inch stand-on mower for his business, and I thought, you know what, if he's going to continue to do that, I did have a chat with him. If he's going to continue to do that, then I'll go ahead and invest the money. This would provide him with a better outcome, a better product than me trying to do it by hand. And also I could probably charge him a little bit less as well, because this should hopefully cut down on the time. So enough of that talk. Let's try and dive into this guy and see what we're going to get. The first impression I had when I got the box was that it's actually quite heavy. I'm not sure how big the tool is because I've only watched videos on YouTube about this particular item, and it's hard to tell. But it feels quite sturdy, quite heavy. Alright, so opening up the box here, first thing you get is a nice set of instructions. It looks like mounting instructions and how to attach the your angle grinder to this item. So I'm going to go ahead and read these instructions front to back. Nice quality. It's not just a piece of paper. It's actually a nice shiny piece of paper. So it is a nice quality set of instructions. Now, the other impressive part about this company is that if you go on YouTube, they have YouTube videos on all sorts of tips and tricks on how to use this. And I've watched just about all of their YouTube videos, and they're very well made. Alright, they give you a nice sticker. Alright, so that's going to probably go on my box here. I got some other stickers to go on, a Honda Tecumseh sticker. And then the packaging, look at the packaging that this comes in, guys. Completely bubble wrapped. The packaging here, this is like a foam insert. Fantastic packaging. There's absolutely nothing going to go wrong with this thing in transit for sure. And taking the tool out of it, again, this is heavy for the size of this thing. This is really well made. At least it looks like it so far. I mean, this is made in America. with probably really high quality stuff. All right, so I'm going to get to reading the instructions, and then I'll be back, and we'll go through mounting this guy and how to set it up. All right, guys, so I read the instructions here, and I went ahead and installed the All-American Sharpener in my vise, because I want this to be portable. I want to be able to take it out, because as you can see, I don't want this kind of hanging out. There's lots of different mounting options. You can come with a mounting plate. You can mount it horizontally on a bench, all right, and have it come up this way. You can mount it vertically and have it come up this way. I'm going to put it in my vise. Now, a couple of things I've noticed thus far is they give you 4 of these, what do they call these, guide pins, which are nice. It'll fit any size, apparently, of grinder, and each grinder will have a handle. They'll have an opening or a way to attach the handle on either side, depending if you're left or right-handed. So I just leave the handle in on my side, on the left-hand side, and I put this locking pin in on the right-hand side, which was free. So you just have to select the one of the 4, which is nice. So that's nice. As you can see, my openings for the handles are actually up on about a probably 25-30 degree angle. I don't know if this is going to create any issues when I mount this. But we'll see. And if so, I have 2 more grinders actually. I have a DeWalt cordless one I can probably use because that looks like what they're using here. And you can see in their instructions the guide pin goes in horizontally or perpendicular. So we'll see if that's an issue. The other thing I noticed as well is that they give you options for, like I said, for mounting, and the problem is that if you're mounting it to a tabletop of some sort, you can see here they have actually a couple of like black bolts or screws in here. I don't see those bolts or screws anywhere as far as hardware is concerned, so I guess it's up to us to try and mount them, unless mine is just missing those. So if they don't come with mounting screws, that's kind of too bad. Mine did not. I don't see them anywhere in the packaging. The other thing is that when you're mounting the All-American Sharpener to the bracket, they give you 2 mounting screws here. All right, and they come with these like hex or Allen key heads on them, but they don't give you an Allen key to actually tighten those down. Now, I mean, I have a shop, and I guess maybe everyone who's using this tool or potentially buying this tool would have their own set of tools, but it would be nice if it came, like how many tools do you get that have, you know, where you have to replace blades or something like that? They come with the Allen wrench. You know, it's another, you know, 50-cent item, $1 item, whatever, on a $340 tool would have been nice. So that's a little disappointing. But overall, I mean, the construction of it is really heavy duty. So hopefully it's going to last quite some time and do the job that I'm looking to do. All right, so now we're going to get to mounting a blade on this thing. So unfortunately, I'm going to have to put you down. Let's see how this turns out. Now, I have a blade that I've actually sharpened for my customer already, but I mean, over time you get these blades. If you're trying to do them by hand, you'll never get that 30 degree or so angle perfect each and every time. And so over time, the more you sharpen them, you know, the more difficult it's going to be to get a nice, you know, factory edge on that. So that's what I'm hoping this All-American Sharpener will do. So to mount this thing, What they say to do is to try and put the the mounting hole on the blade in the center of the clamp. All right, and then you just spin this screwdriver type thing to lock the clamp down on your blade. Okay. All right, so it's now nice and tight in there. The next thing you do is it comes with a little, rubberized, guard. So I'm not sure why I couldn't come with a couple of those other items, but you're going to go ahead and put your grinder in here into the guide pin. So now we're ready to start grinding. Now there is potentially an adjustment you might have to make, because what you're going to have to do is ensure that the grinding surface on the blade, the cutting surface, is pretty much halfway in the center of your grinding disc. I just happen to be using a flap disc, 40 grit or 60 grit, I can't remember, flap disc. So because this whole setup is on an angle now, you can see it is almost pretty much in the center. Now to adjust that, you would back off this bolt right here, this nut, I'm sorry, and then you could move this whole guide pin in and out to try and make it so that it's centered. Okay, so I think I've got it pretty much dialed in. Now I'm going to take this out. The other thing you're going to have to do as well initially is to try and find the angle, the factory angle on this thing. So to do that, you can actually adjust. This is why I bought this particular model, the 5002, because it has adjustments in blade angle of 15 up to 45 degrees. And it's as simple as loosening off this lock nut, right? And then wherever the tip or this corner of this particular block is, it actually has 5-degree increments, and you can see there's these little indentations, and there's a ball bearing that kind of actually sits in each one of those indentations. So very good engineering on that part. All right, now it doesn't lock in there, right? But you have to hold it in that spot. I'm going to start with a 30-degree angle here, and then I'm gonna lock. This is a two-handed job, so then I'm gonna start with 30, and then I'm gonna lock that in place with this lock nut. Okay, so there you go. I've locked it in now, and it's showing right at the 30-degree mark here. All right, so now we're kind of ready to start grinding. Now I've got my safety glasses on, and I'm gonna have some hearing protection on as well. Hearing protection on. And but what I'm going to do as well is to make sure I'm finding this proper blade angle. What I'm going to do is I'm going to actually paint this leading edge or this cutting edge with some black Sharpie marker. Okay, and again, this is a tip from one of their videos. They have tons of good videos. Now, if this were a brand new blade, that would be easy, because that would be a coated paint. But the reason why you want to do this is because when you make your first pass, if it takes off all the black marker right off on the first pass, you pretty much have your angle correct. If it's only taken off, this leading edge, then you're probably too sharp of an angle. And if it's taking off just this back edge, then you're probably too shallow of an angle. So you can adjust the angle based on what you see the outcome of that first pass to be. Alright guys, so I'm ready to kind of make this first pass. So again, I'm just going to kind of look up there and see how much of the of the marker is going to come off. Alright, so you can see I've just actually made 2 small passes and I've only taken off this much. So I have to actually make this much steeper angle than the original 30 degrees that I thought. We'll loosen this off. I'm going to try and go to 35 degrees angle. And retry this one. Alright, so this is at 45 degrees setting, and it's still not taking off the whole thing. Now, part of it could be because, you know, I've just not done a very good job by hand, or I'm going to try a different grinder and see what happens. Okay guys, so I've got one blade done here now. Just a couple of further impressions on this tool. It does a phenomenal job getting a nice, smooth, consistent, angled edge on your blades. So gets A+ marks on that front for sure. My customer likes it really sharp, and this is like razor sharp. I could probably cut paper with it. It did take a little bit to try and find what that angle should be, that sort of factory angle, and so once I found that, then it was actually pretty good. The other thing I did notice as well that I had to adjust is I had to adjust and put the whole assembly as far down into my vise as I could to kind of get the whole unit lower to the ground. Right here it's just a little bit high to try and continuously, this is almost at shoulder length, continuously trying to do this, and if I could mount it maybe onto the side of my bench even a little bit lower, I think it would probably actually be less strenuous. The other thing I noticed is that these pivot points are actually quite stiff. Like, I'm putting a lot of pressure to try and get this thing to twist, and I thought maybe I could loosen it up a little bit with these bolts, but those seem to be Loctited or something together. They don't loosen up, so it is a little bit stiff. Hopefully I work that in over time and it actually becomes a little less strenuous to rotate and pivot these arms. But I mean, overall it does a fabulous job, a fantastic job, and as I get used to using it more, hopefully it will get even faster and better. It remains to be seen as far as using this kind of setup for something like this kind of a blade, where it's got like a mulching edge with double type of angles on it. So I will test it out at some point on one of those, of course, and hopefully it's going to be fairly easy as well, just like this one was. So I mean, overall guys, I would say it's a great tool to have. I think the quality that it produces is really nice. Once you can figure out the sort of setup process, I think it will go a lot faster. A couple of those small things though that I wish they had you know, addressed by giving us, you know, an Allen wrench, a 7/32 Allen wrench for here, and you know, a couple of mounting bolts. Again, I'm not sure, it just, mine didn't include that or what the deal is. And the other thing is this hogs a lot of metal off as well. So you can see all of the dust. Now that's not just from this blade, but it does throw a lot of metal dust around. So maybe a mask, or maybe gonna build some sort of like a shroud system, because the sparks are flying this way. So maybe a shroud system that can collect some of that so it's not flying around my garage here. So anyways, guys, just to finish off the video, I am not sponsored at all by these guys. I have paid $340 to get this particular setup, and it remains to be seen long term if this is going to work out. So maybe I'll do a follow-up video in 6 months from now, or a year, maybe after next spring, to try and give you guys a better idea of using it after 6 months. So anyways, guys, I hope you enjoyed the video. Thanks again for watching, and until our next project, take care.